Hello everyone. Now, before Easter, I held a 500 words short story competition, and over the Easter holidays I had great enjoyment in reading all of those stories and found it really difficult to choose who were my favourites to be the winners. So I had to enlist the help of some of the other teachers to help me decide, because there were so many wonderful stories to choose from. Now, in joint third place was Phoebe's story, Lyra and Zara's time travel story, and Emily's story, War Machine, both very interesting time travel stories. In joint second place was Erin's story, Chloe and Charlie, and Lily and Garwin's story, The Watery Flower Glitch. And in first place is When Fate Changes by Ruby and Millie, which I'm about to share it with you, and the other stories will be read by those story winners' teachers as well. I particularly enjoyed this story because of the language that was used, and I could really imagine and picture the story in my head as I read it. So here we go. When Fate Changes by Ruby and Millie. The wind whistled, screeching like a puppy facing extreme pain in its left foreleg. If you could see it, the wind would swirl up and down and around you as if it wanted to play. Not just the wind swirled and played, though. The great, mighty serpent twisted and turned up in the air and down below like strong, heavy gusts of air themselves. He carried an envelope in his wide jaws. He travelled with such speed that he blew away any small animals passing. He stopped abruptly. With one mighty flick of his long tail, up he jumped and down he fell and tunnelled into the crusty mud-coloured ground. Meanwhile, a treacherous wolf-like brown bear smiled cunningly until he felt the earthquake the serpent had caused. Immediately, his smirk faded. He was holding a bottle of children's screams, and in his other hand he held an enchanted sword. On it was engraved his initials, H.S. His name was Heartstrike. He set off to find something important and disappeared into the thin air. They then both reached their destination, the Great Hall of the World. The serpent looked expectantly at Heartstrike to go in, thinking he was not bad but was one of his enemies. Heartstrike did too. They both then walked in, or in Serpent's case, slithered. They then shouted simultaneously, which is surprising because they didn't know each other, "Prepare to lose your world and everything you've worked for," whilst the clueless people squealed frantically, running around. It was chaos. Heartstrike chuckled menacingly, thinking what trouble he could cause while this distraction was going on. Serpent, on the other hand, knew what he was doing, and he slipped through the screaming swarms of tiny, overreacting humans down below. His plan was simple. All he had to do was slide this small, battered letter into the world leader's desk drawer. Its edges were burnt, and down its crusty, overused sides ran his praise and enemies' crimson red blood. Bugs crawled over this terrifying letter, making it seem even more gruesome. The letter inside the worn envelope read, "Dear tiny people of the world that have no special features whatsoever." He didn't like Ben very much, or really at all. "I am going to destroy your precious world and everything in it if you don't mind. Actually, I'll do it anyways. Ha!" Soon enough, Heartstrike thought of a plan. He let out the children's screams in his clear crystal glass bottle and laughed a laugh so deadly it was like listening to poison if it could be heard. Meanwhile, not far away, humans unaware of this laughed at the same very time. More of a cruel laugh, though. They had chopped down 1,008 acres of forest in one day. Serpent sensed this and realised the real bad guys. Humans. Heartstrike sensed this too, with his acute hearing and sense of smell. They ran off with each other, taking a different path that would change their fate forever. ... A very interesting and slightly gruesome story that I've very much enjoyed reading. Well done, guys. And to everyone else that submitted a story, well done.